You're welcome back to the POLITY, a program that focuses on everything political that affects the lives of Nigerians and Nigeria. If you're just joining us, we are on with our guests in the studios, and viewers can always call in to make the program conversational by calling the line displayed on our screen, on your screen, beg your pardon. With me in the studio is Dr. Everest Amaefule. Now, let me ask you, let's begin by starting the conversation by asking you, Nigeria has attained nationhood after close to 64 years after independence, and now we are running 25 years of unbroken democratic journey. In the midst of groanings, in the midst of dire straits by Nigerians, affecting Nigerians, there has been celebration, colorful parade at Eagle Square in the nation's capital, speeches by Mr. President, with renewal of hope in the speeches, and then celebrations across the subnationals. Give us the appraisal of the journey so far from your own perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, viewers, and thank you for the question. Yes, there have been celebrations. There have been, across the country, at the federal level and then at the state levels. And as you pointed out, in the midst of groanings. You see, sometimes it is the leaders that celebrate these days. That celebrate independence. It is the leaders that celebrate democracy. The people are left out of it. Why is this so? Because the journey so far has not been fantastic for the people, and there is this apathy. The people have not been made to be part of the stakeholders. So most times it is the leaders that see the need for celebration. Maybe I can say symbolic, and because the people have not been made to be adequate shareholders in the journey. If you're asking the journey so far, have we defined where we're going to? Have we defined the people that are going on that journey? And if we define these things properly, then everybody can be carried along, or majority of the people can say, oh, okay, I'm on board, let's move on. So most of the times it is those that are within the corridors of power that celebrates the national days, the Independence Day, the Democracy Day, because directly they are the beneficiaries of whether it is democracy, whether it is independence. The majority of the people are not yet to feel that they are part of it. And because there is this lack of sense of nationhood, or yes, we are in this together. If we agree that we are in this together, then whether we are down or whether we are up, we celebrate together. But most times it is not like that.
In Nigeria, it's often said to be a non-aligned nation, which means we are not aligning either to the west or to the east. But we have fashioned our democratic structure after America. And America has a dream. What is that Nigerian dream?
Well, what is that Nigerian dream? Maybe I should throw the question back to you, and that is what I was talking about. What is the dream? Where are we going to? Where do we hope to be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Have the people even agreed that they are a people? And it's not as if it's because we quarrel so much. It is because our leaders divide us, especially when they want to get to power. It is when they get to power that they begin to talk about patriotism. So patriotism seems to be a commodity limited to leaders. It is when they get to power that they become patriotic.
Yeah.
But before they get to power, they say all sorts of things. They divide the people. But once they get to power, you begin to hear them say things that they don't come from their hearts. Things that they may have said opposite, direct opposite of things that they had said in the past. Because on their way to power, they can use anything, they can throw in everything. So it is when they get to the power, they remember, oh, we are a nation, we should all struggle together, and there is hope. But before they get to power, they divide us along religious lines, they divide us along ethnic lines. I don't want to say tribal lines, so that I don't become the West. They use tribe derogatorily.
When you say the West, you mean the Western Nigeria or the West? The
global West.
The global West.
The global West.
Okay.
The global West.
Now let me ask you, the back and forth debacle between federal government, Labour, TUC, and organized private sector. What are your expectations? You've been, following events as they are unfolding.
Yes.
What are your expectations? Because Nigerians are waiting with bated breath what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised, that he was going to send an executive bill to the Senate for consideration. What do you expect?
My expectations. Do I have expectations? Okay, let me tell you.
You should.
Okay, I commented in another forum that whatever they arrive at it's not going to be a solution, but it's going to be part of the problem.
Part of the problem?
Yes.
In what sense?
Yes, I will explain.
Okay.
If they said, if they agreed that we are going to pay 62,000 and Labour accept 62,000, or if they say 100,000, as many people are banding around, even if they go up to 250,000 naira, as the Labour is insisting,
yes,
anything among these three, or anything at all, will be part of the problem, because the problem has been let loose. It is because of the problem that the Labour is insisting on wage rise. So the problem was there. At the time that the president said subsidy is gone, the problem was created.
Okay.
It's not that there wasn't any problem. Yes, there was a problem. But we should have found a way of solving that problem instead of creating more problems. So
hold on your thoughts. Yeah, we have a caller. We lost it. We lost the caller. Go ahead.
Okay. So, like I was trying to say, they are trying to solve the problem of inflation. That is, the cost of living has gone up.
Yeah.
The workers cannot cope with the wage they are receiving. 30,000 naira minimum wage. Where does it take anyone to? Given the hyperinflation we are suffering now.
Okay.
So if you say 62,000 naira, that is more than double. And we are dealing with inflation. If you are dealing with inflation and you are increasing...
Hold on, please. Hello? You're on to the POLITY. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is T.Y. Bello. I'm calling from Kaduna.
T.Y. Bello, you're welcome to the program. Please, can you make your contribution?
Yes. As the guest rightly said,
okay,
when Labour and the federal government are coming into agreement, now we should look at the cost of living in Nigeria.
Okay.
The cost of living in Nigeria is erotic.
Okay.
I'm from a place called Gidawaya, and you can imagine that we are buying of local rice, that is 8 cups, around 2,300.
Okay.
Now, it is so that you can imagine somebody who is working as a federal government worker, now receiving 35,000. Let's even make it the 60,000 naira or 65. Now, you pay school fees, you pay health, you pay for other things. Now, how could that person survive? And let's not forget, he's also paying transportation to work.
Yeah.
Now, even in the level that they are bonding together, I believe that 100,000 naira should be okay, at least for a start. Because a senator, sorry to say, a senator of the Federal Republic is collecting 39 million naira a month, apart from wardrobe allowances, constituency allowances. Now, and then you are telling me that the federal government is looking at 100,000 naira as in for a civil servant is much. So look at it and know where we are with this 25 years of democracy, uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria. And then let us know where we were and where we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, T.Y. Bello from Kaduna. The guy just said, in fact, he's towing along the same thoughts that you have.
Yes, I think we have some difference. I agree.
Slight difference.
Some slight difference. I said that whatever they arrive at now is going to be part of the problem.
Yes.
If you say 100,000 naira, in the first place, 100,000 naira can hardly solve the issues or resolve the issues.
So you don't think it's a living wage?
Yes. But then there are problems. The person earning that will earn that 100,000 naira.
Let's pick this call, please. Hello, you're on to the POLITY. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
My name is Ifeanyi from Maucauley.
Ifeanyi from Maucauley. Ifeanyi from Maucauley.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to contribute for what is going discussing.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Concerning the Labour and the federal government.
Okay, go ahead. Please turn down the volume of your television set and continue with your contribution.
Okay, I have done that.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
What I'm trying to say is that I don't see the reason that federal government is bargaining with the Labour, because what Labours are demanding for is not too much for federal government to pay. It is state governors. But I know their salaries, state governors and the House of Assembly and House of Reps, even presidency, their salaries is more than what Labours are bargaining.
Yeah.
If they remove money to pay Labours what they are paying, it will not touch anybody, because their own salaries, how much House of Reps are collecting, how much senators are collecting, how much president is collecting. Even if this is president of Nigeria now is collecting from president salaries, if they collect minister own. So I don't see the reason that they will be bargaining. If Labour insists on 250,000, federal government should carry it, even if they say that 250,000 is much. They're supposed to carry it more than 100,000, because if you went to market, even if they pay the 150,000, even if that's 250,000, a bag of rice is that much. A person that is a family that has about 5 children, 6 children, 7 children, 8 children, how many days bag of rice will last for them to finish? Even this. But where we are now, a mood of rice is 2,000 plus. A mood of this is 2,000 plus. How much are they going to pay workers that will make them?
Okay, thank you.
Take care of their family?
Thank you, Ifeanyi. Thank you, Ifeanyi. You have made your point very, very clear. Dr. Everest, I'm very sure most Nigerians that will be calling will certainly disagree with you, because they are fixated on the amount.
I will make my point.
Okay.
I will make my point.
Go ahead.
My point is this: the person that is going to earn that 250,000, or that is going to earn the 100,000, or that is going to earn 62,000 naira, is a very little percent of the population of Nigeria. I was looking at an analysis, and the analysis is saying that we have about 76 million workers.
That's 5.3%. About that.
Of the entire population.
Of the entire population.
Okay. We have about 76 million workers. Out of this number, about 5.3 million work in the formal sector.
Exactly.
And this formal sector includes the state governments, the parastatals, the federal government, and then the large corporations.
Yes.
So you have more than 70-something million of the working population. We're not talking about those that are not working. Those are working in the MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises.
The informal sector.
The informal sector. Oh, there are, okay, well.
Generally informal.
Generally informal. So many of these companies do not have the capacity to pay 30,000 minimum wage at the moment, and they are facing difficulties, fundamental difficulties, as a result of the economy, where the economy has gone to. Assuming you are able to legislate and pass minimum wage at 60,000 or at 100,000, what would happen to the people working in the informal sector? Mind you, it is not because the employers in those sectors do not want to pay. Simply put, they don't have the capacity to pay. So where does minimum wage leave us?
Where does it
and that's why I'm telling you that whatever they arrive at, whatever figure, I'm not interested in the figure.
Okay.
They arrive at, whatever figure they arrive at, is going to be part of the problem. And let me also say that by the time they arrive at a new figure, the inflation that we are talking about will go up. It will go up. So things are going to be worse than it is at the moment, as soon as there is a new minimum wage. There will be pressure on the informal sector to pay the new minimum wage. And some people, some of these organizations are already closing down. And we have already always said that the engine of the economy is the MSMEs. And nobody is talking about them. Nobody is talking about the... I'm going to narrate to you a little experience I had. Okay. I also operate in one of those small businesses, and the local government, the AMAC, was on us. Come and pay this, come and pay that, come and pay that. And I narrated my challenges to the tax man. Oh, look, they increased the cost of fuel. We can't. Power is hardly available. Then we have maybe 2 generators. We have 2 generators.
Okay.
But because of the cost of fuel, we can't profitably use those generators. So I narrated my challenges, and I said, we're having difficulty paying our salaries. Do you know what the guy replied me? He said, those challenges you are talking about is not only you.
It's only you.
Many people are facing it. So you have to show that you are a responsible business person and come and pay this and come and pay that. I told him, look, we are on the verge of closing down. The guy wasn't interested. He didn't make any.
You tell him he's doing his job.
Yes, he didn't make it. But in other climes, the government will want to know, what are the challenges you are facing? Maybe you're employing 4 or 5 people. We know that if that business goes down, those 5 people are going to lose their employment.
Yeah.
So what can we do? How can we assist you to ensure that that business operates? The guy said, "Oh, okay. I have not even made my investigation, and you are making all these claims." I said, "My friends, go ahead, make your investigations." I was like, I'm ready to give it to him, because I know that this business is only a matter of time. It would collapse, and of course it did. I mean, this conversation was happening around January, February. Today, that place is closed down, because I can't continue to run business as if I'm running a charity organization. So what am I trying to say? There are so many of these organizations that cannot pay the minimum wage, not because they don't want to pay, but because they don't have the capacity. And what will happen to the workers in those places? You think they don't go to the same markets as those that work in the formal sector? They do. And so the problem is already created, and we are not talking about solving the problem. There are fundamental issues. Fundamental things are wrong with the economy. We are not producing.
Okay.
We are not producing, and those that want to produce, they don't have the capacity. They cannot borrow money. For instance, you can see what is the rate that CBN puts their minimum discount this thing. They put it at about, I think, 26%. That is what the Apex Bank can charge the banks if they come to borrow. So would it be wrong for the banks to charge 33% or 35% to their borrowers? They will not be wrong, since the Apex Bank is charging them 26%. And who can go into production with that kind of interest rates?
Yeah.
So we're not solving the problem. The problem is huge.
Now, Dr. Everest, many Nigerians, including you, believe that whatever minimum wage is arrived at may not be sustainable except we fix the productive base. For how long will Labour continue to wait for that productive base to be fixed before they get their
if they like, they can wait for eternity. It is not being insensitive. It is because Labour failed to do what they were supposed to do. The Labour, especially the present leadership of Labour, is very selfish, and when they were supposed to do something, when they were supposed to protest, this is the first time that fuel price will be increased by 200%, more than 200%, and the Labour did not go on strike. I know that they were blackmailed, but if you are in leadership, you would expect blackmail. In Nigeria, Labour had been the credible opposition that we have had. And so the present leadership of Labour abandoned that role, abandoned that responsibility, and did not say anything. Yes, they did say something. Let me not say they didn't say anything, but they did not do anything. You could see here when the president gloated. He said the biggest elephant in the room was this fuel subsidy. I let it out and the roof did not fall. He's telling you they couldn't do anything. They did nothing. The Labour did not do anything.
Okay.
So the Labour did not do anything. And so I'm not saying that the subsidy should have been retained for eternity. It should have been removed methodically. It should have been removed with plans. There should have been plan in the first place. There was no plan on ground. And you remove it from Thursday. without any plan on ground. If you had planned, maybe when you were elected, by the time you were elected, between the time you were elected and the time you assumed office, you put a plan in place because you know that you are going to do this. You have a plan in place. And or you do it gradually. We wouldn't have thought, what happened wouldn't have happened. And Labour did not do anything. And so the only time they could do something is when they are negotiating for their minimum wage. And like I told you before, Labour used to be the credible opposition that we had. They used to fight for the masses. Now they are fighting for themselves. Now,
Dr. Everest, I've followed your trajectory as a seasoned journalist, but your forte is business news. You know, and I also know you as a financial consultant. The last 2 days strike, tell us the financial or economic implication to Nigeria, because I was made to understand that the country lost about 2 trillion naira or so. And with the looming strike, tell us the macro and micro economic implication of that if it eventually happens.
Well, they tell us what we lose when there is a strike. They don't tell us what we gain.
What we gain
when the nation is working. So there needs to be a balance. There is no doubt about it that yes, when
you made me to chuckle, you know, with that.
There is no doubt that when the workers go on strike, a lot of things are lost. Productivity is it's put at bay. We're not even so much a productive economy. Yes, so much is lost, but this is the 2-day strike. It's not the first time. In fact, it's one of the shortest strikes you can ever have. But remember, in the past, people could be on strike for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. And the good thing about it, the funny thing is that the people, even those that were not working, would join them. If they are demonstrating, those that are not working, those that are not part of NLC would join them. You remember that even the present leaders used to be part of demonstrations. When this government is saying, oh, you lose so much, but they were part of the government, part of the demonstrations in the past. When Labour went on strike 1 week, 2 weeks, and it didn't bother them. It is now that they are in power that they know that, yes, if you shut down an economy, there is so much to lose. It is part of the intolerance we are having in government. The government is becoming intolerable of any opposition, any voice of opposition. We are not saying that, oh, Labour, they should arrive at compromise as soon as possible. But my problem is that whatever they arrive at will be part of the problem. It is not solving the problem. They are not even addressing the issues.
Talking about address, I remember in the president's broadcast on Democracy Day, he did mention that this government is labor friendly, workers friendly, because there was no clamp down on labor unions and their leadership. What's your thoughts on that?
I disagree.
Nobody was arrested, nobody was molested. They had a free day to run their show, to celebrate Democracy Day. Even during the strike, nobody was arrested. That was what the president said in the broadcast.
Well, I've hinted to you my opinion. My opinion is that this government is intolerable of opposing voices. Forget about whether they arrested
Can you give us an instance?
Oh,
because you have to buttress your point.
Yes, I will do that. I have said many, leading to this period of, to the 2-day strike, we know the effort we know what government had done to ensure that the labor does not protest. They have wanted, several people have wanted to protest. No, they will use threats, they will use blackmail, all sorts of tricks to make sure that the voice of opposition is not heard. This, like I said, Labour mustered the courage for this 2-day strike because of selfishness. Because it is biting them too much. I mean, 13,000 naira minimum wage at this time. So it will be as, oh, these people, this leadership of Labour couldn't even do anything. That's why they had to muster. And you could say that within 2 days, the thing was called off. Did they arrive at anything before they called off the strike? They did not arrive at anything. So it is not when you make any arrest that we know that you, I mean, that you didn't, that we conclude that you are Labour friendly. No, there are other things that we will look at and we know whether you are Labour friendly or not. Okay, let's move away from Labour, but I know our callers will take us back to Labour because it's the most pressing issue, so to speak. Now there are agitations for, you know, in view of the backdrop of cost of governance. There are agitations for the reduction of or removal of one arm of government from the legislature, with emphasis on House of Representatives and the Senate, you know, to cut cost of governance. If you are given the latitude to choose, which of the arm will you ask to go? You mean between the Senate and House of Representatives? Well, definitely. We are running a bicameral legislature, so people are agitating for unicameral legislature. Which one, if given the opportunity to choose, which one will you choose? I will ask the House of Representatives to go. Why? Because the number is larger. Okay. They have about 360 members. I will prefer to have the members in the House. But there's an argument that they are closer to the people because of their constituents, where they're coming from. Closer to the people. Are they doing what the people ask them to do? Do they feel the pulse of the people? If they feel the pulse of the people, they will cut down the cost of government. What you ask me is hypothetical. If I were to choose, if you were to choose, but I don't have the power to choose. Yes, I know that. I don't have the power to choose, and if you are to choose, and those that have the power to choose will not choose anyone because the status quo benefit them. The people in government are beneficiaries of the status quo. If this economy, if this nation must be reorganized, the people must agitate for it. The people must work for it, because those that are benefiting from the status quo, from the current realities, do not want any change. They do not want any change. And to say that they are the ones that will legislate for change is to ask for the impossible. There is so much. Okay, that brings me to the proposal by about 30 members of House of Representatives, led by Ugochinyere, a member representing Idato from Imo State, where they are proposing about 50 amendments to the Constitution. And topping the list is 6-year single-term rotational for president and governors, as well as 2 vice presidents, Vice President 1 and Vice President 2. And they did also propose that the Vice President 1 will come from the same zone with the president, you know, against the backdrop of any eventuality, you know, force majeure or death occurring to the president. The man automatically takes over. The Vice President 1 automatically takes over. So that and the Vice President 2 completes the tenure. And the Vice President 2 will come from the other 2 zones that the president does not come from. What do you think? So much restructuring needs to take place. And like I said, those in government, whether in the legislative arm or in the executive arms, will not want any change. They will not want any restructuring. In Goodluck Jonathan, for the first time, we had a president who brought a bill for that single tenure of 6 years. But he was shut down. They shut him down, and he withdrew it. That's one of the problems I have with the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. He could hardly, insist on what he knows is right. I think that it is very important for, if we have a single tenure of 6 years, because it reduces the tendency towards electoral rigging, towards manipulating the process to favor the incumbents. And a single tenure of 6 years gives you more time to do whatever you think you can do. And if we are thinking about balance, if we are thinking about ensuring fairness and equity in the system, I think a single tenure of 6 years is good enough. And it will reduce, and of course, I also think that rotational presidency should be part of the mix, because a lot of energy is spent on agitations. Where does the presidency come from? We've seen some polity, some jurisdictions where they have a similar arrangement, rotational. And instead of all the times these men and women spent in dividing Nigerians because they think that they want that this things must be, they will tell you it's our turn, but what they mean is it's my turn. It is my turn, not our turn, our local. That is to deceive some people. To push for a candidate. But when they get there, if they do bad, it affects all of us. And the economy doesn't know us. It doesn't know all of us. Dr.
Amaefule is still on restructuring. There are divergent views on restructuring by Nigerians. I've heard so many Nigerians talk about the reversal from the current presidential system that we operate back to regionalism. Some are even agitating for parliamentary. And I've also heard arguments that it is not really the system operate that is faulty or the problem, but operators of that system, Nigerians themselves. Where do you belong?
Maybe I will belong at the middle.
You can't be neutral. Are you a proponent of regionalism, presidential, parliamentary, or are you a proponent of those who say it is not really the system, but people, operators, we Nigerians, our subconsciousness, our psyche, our mind?
Yeah, there is no doubt that the operators of the system...
We'll get back to those thoughts. Let's take this caller. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. You're on to the POLITY, where we discuss everything political that affects you and I. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Thank you. My name is Yayanta.
Yayanta.
Yes, from Bida.
Okay, I can see from Ta. I know you're from Bida. Yayanta, yes.
Yes, from Bida local government.
Okay, Bida, you're welcome. Let's hear. Okay.
I agree with your guest.
Okay.
When he was pointing fingers against Labour leader.
Okay.
When the subsidy was removed.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I see it and consider it that as then, the president have outsmart them, because he just come in and he make that pronouncement, which as at that time, if any Labour and disagree with that, they will say, you see, Nigerians will just say, you just come in and you know what he has to offer, you know how good this will, you see, those are, that's my reason. I see it for them that to some extent, and you know, people as their own party, they will just misunderstand it and say it's because it's not their party that is in government. That is that. As for the issue of single tenure, I support that movement. Fully support that movement. And we had a program on Monday in radio Power FM at Bida. It was brought to a parliament. They do call that program parliament. It was brought for discussion, and many people support that. But what I think that should be added to that movement is that immunity given to the president and the governor. If we want to get it right, that immunity should be removed.
Okay.
With that, they will do the needful. That is the only way I feel we will get it right.
Okay.
And there will be more accountable, because they will be having fear that if they mess with our money, the financial crimes and other agencies are there to deal with them without any power given to them. So I think if that immunity is removed, it's okay. It's a very welcome development.
Okay.
And for this House of Rep and the Senator, that you are given your guest an option to choose. If for me, I choose House of Representatives because they are more closer to people, and that is just my reason.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Yaya from Bidja. He has a divergent view from you on the last pillar that he made, but you seem to tally on the minimum wage. He doesn't. He agrees with you that it is inauspicious for them to demand for such humongous amount of money. And he also did say, he started by saying, Labour is now at the mercy of the president.
Yes, it's not only the Labour that is at the mercy of the president. The entire country is at the mercy of the president. There is what is called state capture, and it is real. It's almost, that's why I said we are progressing towards intolerance. It's either you are blackmailed or you are threatened, or I understand what he was saying, that look, the president had just come in, and if the Labour had opposed, I understand all of that. And in fact, they did. They played the ethnic card. They played you also have a party, and this is what your candidates canvassed. But for crying out loud, the party had been there before this time. Only that it was only now that the party made some impact. And if you know that your role, you define your role well as Labour leaders, the party arm is there, and something that is going to affect something of that magnitude, and you couldn't do something just because you are afraid of backlash. So why are you there in the first place as leader? Haven't we seen Labour leaders that have gone to prison and all that? And you remember the last year or thereabouts, the president of Nigerian Labour Congress left heftier or bigger things at the national level and went to the state level from the Imo state where he came from. And he was beaten up.
Please call Doctor. Hold your thoughts. Hello, good afternoon, and you're welcome to the POLITY. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Oh, we have lost that caller. Go ahead. With
So he left the heavier matters and went to pursue the microcosm in Imo State, and he was beaten up, and that was when the labor called for strike, both TUC and NLC
in protest.
They called for strike because their leader was beaten. That's the only one that succeeded. I mean, that's the first time that they called a strike, maybe one day. Because that's what I'm telling you about selfishness. I'm not saying that their leader should have been beaten. I'm just trying to buttress the selfishness.
Okay. Dr. Everest Amaefule, let me ask you. There is a story that Daily Trust decided to make it their headline. You know, you are aware that a mining site collapsed in Niger State. Up to this moment that we're talking, about 50 people are not accounted for. They are missing. They have not been rescued. But it is at this inauspicious time that the governor, his deputy, and the speaker decided to go on pilgrimage, which is personal. What do you think? Nigerians are so worried, are so angry about it.
That is a problem. Governance is lacking in our nation.
Yeah.
Empathy is lacking. That's, I mean, 50 people, not 5.
Not 5. Not
50. And the governor of the state left. Did you say the deputy left?
The deputy. He left with the deputy. He's on the cover of Daily Trust.
Very unfortunate. Then the speaker also left.
Yes. Sigh of relief?
In relief? No. No.
Sigh of despondency?
Despondency is unthinkable in some climes. In some other jurisdictions, even the president would have gone to that place and be part of the rescue effort. But here, the governor of the state had left. That tells you the people are on their own. The people of this country are on their own. And like I told you, it is when they get to the corridors of power that you hear them mouth platitudes, talk about patriotism, things that they say with their mouths, their heart is far from it. How is it that there will be such a monumental catastrophe and the governor of the state will leave, irrespective of whatever he was going for? Whatever it is, whether it is personal or state business, there was no bigger business for him to attend to than the people that are trapped. At least show some empathy. He might not be the one that will rescue them.
Let's take this call,
but leave them.
Hello, good afternoon. You are on to the POLITY.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Adiremi Ipamiji from Ibadan.
Adiremi, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've been listening
Okay.
to the discussion on this 25 years of unbroken democracy.
Okay.
Nigerians are blessed with highly intellectual people.
Yeah.
We dissect issues very well. But most times, we look at the ideals. When I say ideals, how things should normally be. How do we prefer solutions to things that are not ideal? Your guest there is an intellectual.
Thank you.
All over the world, there is no perfect situation. And that's why I'm having something in mind. Democracy is like a coin with two sides, head and tail. And what makes democracy easy is that majority will have its way, minority will still have their voice. For Christ's sake, let us engage in constructive criticism. If the government does something and we think it's not right, let's provide positive and better alternative. Most times,
the efforts to protest, to do some of these things, are enshrined in the Constitution. I disagree with your guest that this government has been very hard-handed on protesters. Tell me, in any part of the world where a protest will go to the national grid, shut it down. It's unheard of. It's uncivilized. It's criminal. The leadership of the labor unions, they should be part and parcel of those people that will grow the economy. Our naira must be strengthened. I wrote recently, the labor people are part and parcel of policy formulation and implementation. If government fails, they are part of the failure. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
We are at a stage now. We've seen that democracy is better than autocracy. We can all protest, we can all say whatever we like, even on social media, abuse anybody. But let us, for once, sit down, dissect our problems. How do we move forward? What alternative, better solutions do we have? Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Aderemi from Ibadan, you've heard his thoughts.
Yes. We were talking about Niger, for instance.
Yes, Niger, yes.
My brother, is it too much to demand that a governor elected by the people should be there when the people are suffering?
We have another caller. Hello, good afternoon. You're welcome onto the POLITY.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to the POLITY. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Shegun. I'm calling from Lagos.
Shegun from Lagos. Please, your comment.
Yes, you see, it's so unfortunate that we find ourselves into this mess. Just take a look what is on your screen there. 25 years of
democracy.
25 years of democracy. And then we are still in this pitch. We are still discussing minimum wage, no road. We have not even talked about the year of independence. It's so sad.
That's right.
Now, your guest said we have about almost 300 and something House of Assembly members. You can imagine each one of them, take home of each one of them. Not even talking about the senators. So what are we talking about here? How much are they asking for? Right? Even though let's assume they won't agree to collect 65,000 naira. At this present time now, you as the host, can you take 65 naira to market? What are you going to get from there? You now those two what's it called? This pepper in the market. 200. So imagine now you want to buy pepper of 5,000 naira. You cannot even take it anywhere. So you see, the problem that we have in this country, like what he said, the House of Assembly member, we don't need it. Fine, let's deal with the senators. Let those ones who in fact the Senate they should privatize. It should be part-time job.
Okay.
Most of those people in the Senate there, none of them even have a shop or even have somebody to work for them. Some of them come from abroad because they have money. They get there. Look at the young man there. He said he has an office. When he's now discovered that look, to run the office is expensive, he has to quit. Now this is the kind of people that we want there as a senator. Not all those people that doesn't have a job. Most of them they are jobless. They don't have the money because in Nigeria, when you have money, you can do anything.
Okay.
You know?
Thank you.
That is what I just have to say.
Thank you, Aderemi. I'm sorry, Shegun from Lagos. Thank you, Shegun from Lagos. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah. Shegun was making reference to people like you to be in the Senate, and he did say Senate should be part-time.
I agree with him. It should be part-time. But the problem, like I said, the status quo is benefiting some people. So except the entire people rise up and say, this is our nation, we can no longer be ruled like this. This is how we must be ruled. Except they do it, the things will continue as they are. 3 years is almost here. They will come again and divide us. In fact, we for some time now we've not spoken with one voice.
Okay.
We've not spoken with one voice. So very soon, we will be concerned with another election.
Dr. Amaefule, are you a proponent of local government autonomy, total autonomy for local government?
Yes, I am, but there is a need. There is a question you asked me that we have not answered before we got callers, before callers came. You were asking that regionalism, local government, and all that. You know, people are clamoring, or one of the reasons why people are clamoring for regional government is that the cost of governance is way too high. You have 36 state governments, and you have 36 state government plus the FCT. That's 37.
That's agitation for additional state in southeast.
Let us be like the other ones.
Okay.
So you have 36 or 37 state governments. Each governor come with commissioners. Each of them come with PS, SS, and all that. Then each state has a house of assembly. Then they have all patronages and all that. So the cost of governance is high. And some of these states cannot, what do you call it now? Do not generate enough revenue. They look up to the federal government. That's Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC, where they share money. So they are not sustainable. That's why some people say, look, why don't we have 6 regions? Some people are now asking and making it 8 regions. So why don't we remove, the state this thing, and so that we can have 6 regional governments. Another reason why people are clamoring for it is that maybe they think that regionalism will make for true federalism, because each of them can be strong enough and there will be competition like we have had in the past. Those that were older than us were always bemoaning, there were the granite pyramids in the north. There were the palm oil coming from the east, and then there was cocoa from the west. So each of these regions, we are fighting, we are competing, healthy competition. And today that competition is gone. All of the states wait, and maybe apart from maybe Lagos, because of the size of Lagos.
Let's talk about our leadership recruitment process as we wind down. Farida Waziri, former one-time chairman of EFCC, did propose mental evaluation for any aspiring Nigerian who wants to throw his hat in an elective, office. And Segun Adeniyi, a prolific writer, journalist, and one-time presidential spokesman, and an author, wrote a book after President Jonathan conceded defeat, titled Against the Run of Play, where he did propose that, aspiring leaders should subject themselves to elocution, exposure to the world, knowledge of the world, and things like that. Do you agree with that? And if you agree with that, what should be the clearinghouse? What should be the structure of the clearinghouse as we wind down?
Well, we have had leaders who ruled at the highest level, who could not stand a debate.
Yeah, of course, yes.
We invited them for debate, they refused. We clamored for them, and we voted for them. What do we want as a people? Didn't we see clear signs that these people were not going to perform? For somebody that was looking for the opportunity to be president from 2003 to 2015, and you call for debate, the person wouldn't debate. On what basis has he been clamoring for?
Godly.
And didn't Nigerians see that this was a problem? This was a sign that there was going to be a problem.
So you are of the view also that aspiring leaders should be subjected to mental evaluation to test their elocution, knowledge of the world.
Yes, if it will help us, because we have seen clear contrasts. We have seen this is good, this is better, this is maybe best. But I told you before that those aspiring to leadership, one of the things they have in stock is that they know how to divide us. And they ensure that even if somebody is better, they will throw something at us. Okay. We're pursuing it. We'll be pursuing those small things they throw at us.
Okay.
And they
viewers,
get to where they are going to.
Well, viewers, that's the size of our package today on the Polity. I hope you enjoyed every moment of it. We would like to thank our callers ranging from Adem Remy from Ibadan Shegun in Lagos, and Tiwa Bello in Kaduna, Ifeanyi from Maucauley, and Yaya Nta from Peter. You must agree with me that it's been insightful and incisive. In the studio, I would like to thank Dr. Everest Amaefule, our guest, a journalist, public affairs analyst with a forte in business reporting and financial sector. Join us again next time with another program, exciting one on the Polity. On behalf of our producer Ruben Okala and the entire production team that made this package possible, my name is Maucauley Hunohashion saying bye-bye. See you next time.